Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody for continuing to hang out with us tonight as we progress towards the latter stages of tonight's show. Tonight is one of those nights once a year where we get to have a show on a holiday. And the holiday that we're celebrating tonight is the commemorance of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was born on January 15th, 1929. So he would have been, I guess, 87. I'm not good with math. 97, 87 today. Or 80, 88. I'm terrible with math. 88. 88. He'd be 88 years old today. But anyway, yeah. Fact check me, sis. I think he'd be 88 today. But anyway, what I want to do is kind of talk a little bit about his legacy. That's a word that is very important to us here. How we feel about him. We talked to Warren Ballantyne earlier, and he kind of offered his opinion on how Martin Luther King may view today, the people today, if he was living. So if you want to go there, I'm going to open it up and have you guys all kind of reflect on Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Anything you want to say? And so, Dee Dee, you want to go first?
Yeah, I have something to say. I'm just flipping it. We always ask every year, what would he say about the state of, the civil rights movement, how far it's where we are now compared to where we were when he was alive and fighting. But what about the people that we have today fighting for our civil rights? What do they say about what he did back then? Because, his was a peaceful movement. It was strategic. Patience was a lot, it was patience and getting people in the right place at the right time so that there was media coverage. Just like with I don't want to say just like with the Black Lives Matter movement. What are we doing to use what he did back then to get what we need to have happen for us today? Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
You articulated that very well.
Okay, I had to use third to fifth grade.
Yeah. And I just messed it up with articulate.
It was. I got you. I heard what you said. It's like I said. Every year we always ask that question. What would he say about us today? I don't think he would say anything. I'm not to say he wouldn't say anything bad. I don't think it would be all good though, because we don't have as many people that are willing to fight like they had back then. We just don't.
I got a hit on social media. Tiffany Lynn, she said, "What do we think about Wycliffe Jean saying MLK fought because all lives matter?"
I think he used that at some point I think he did use that platform at some point just to get, I think more white people involved to help out with what we needed.
I think Martin Luther King was one who was about integration. And I think that his strategy was that if we could be inclusive of one another, then we can prosper with one another. And so, like, he was murdered helping out sanitation workers.
Exactly.
And all of them weren't black. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he moved out of that, the black civil rights into other areas.
The civil rights, the whole essence of civil rights is that they should be for everybody.
That's true.
Yeah, civil rights.
Yeah.
And as the act got amended, other minorities got added to it after that.
Yep. So I didn't hear the Wycliffe thing
That was the first I've heard
until just now.
Yeah.
Was he being
I have no idea.
negative? Okay.
Oh, he probably wasn't being negative. I mean, haven't met him.
You know how some people say it's not all lives matter is, saying all lives matter is like saying
Well, in the instance that we're talking about, this is, I mean, if you go back and think about what we just said, civil rights should have been an all-inclusive to begin with. So I think that's more over where Dr. Martin Luther King was coming, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was coming from. I mean, I think his strategy might change today. I don't think he would hold as fast to the marching and things of that nature because we've realized that the marching isn't effective. I think that he would probably modify his tactics, unlike the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons and the whoever else that we have right now. Because, I mean, they're still using those same tactics, and what are those tactics getting us?
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that Martin Luther King, if he was here today, I agree that he would not be utilizing the same type of methods that he used then, because if you studied him just in the latter years of his life, he was changing. He was already changing. He was getting angry. That's one of the key things that I think many people miss when we romanticize him, because that's what we do. We romanticize him. He's, almost like a Jesus-like figure in some households. And I mean no disrespect by comparing him to Jesus. It's just the first name that came to my mind. Deity. He's almost like a deity, which is ironic that the country that conspired to murder him now celebrates his birthday on the third Monday of every single January. That irony has never been lost upon me. People forget that the United States government admitted to conspiring to murder this man.
Well, I think I have two things real fast. I don't know if you guys really like pay attention to the Boondocks, the cartoon Boondocks. They had Martin Luther King on it, of how he pretty much will act in this day and age, and it wasn't a pretty sight. He pretty much a chameleon. You pretty much you adapted to your surroundings, plain and simple. I completely forgot my other thing. I'm old. I'm sorry. But
I think he would have used social media a lot more. I think he and Donald Trump might have been battling quite often. Well, I don't want to say battling, but I think he would have, like you said, adapted. He would have used the tools made available to him.
Right.
I truly think.
One thing that I think.
I'm sorry. I just remembered. I was riding with a older lady, MS disease, and she told me that they were trying to do away with Martin Luther King. His birthday, renaming it or something. Have you heard something about that? I
just saw it on Facebook, Great Americans Day.
Yeah, something like that I heard.
Well, that's probably to encompass Lee Jackson Day, which was Friday.
It used to be Lee Jackson King
Day. Yeah, and they separated it.
They separated it.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, one of the biggest, most colossal insults is to put Martin Luther King's birthday commemoration
with two
Confederate leaders. One of the things that I think about Mr. 3375, when I think about Martin Luther King, one of the things that blows my mind is he was 39 years old when he left us. Malcolm X was 39 years old when he left us. Bob Marley was 36 years old when he left us. With all of us being in our 40s, I remember being 36. When Bob, obviously being a Bob Marley fan, it's just like, man, same age he was. Like, wow, what have I done in my life that, is on par with some of the things that he may have done. Then, of course, when you look at Malcolm X, who lost 12 years because he spent it in prison. You know what I mean? And so think about the things that he could have done if he remained with us. And then, Martin Luther King, who entered Morehouse College at 15 years old.
Yeah.
And, became a doctor, a PhD in his early 20s, when people normally don't attain that until they're in their late 20s.
Yep.
So when you think about the things he's able to accomplish in his life, and then he got taken out at 39 years old, it's like when we get these people that we look at in the world that are taken from us young but they live so much and so hard and so fast in the short amount of time that they're here sharing this life. It's humbling, man. 39, yo.
Yeah.
39. What's your thoughts on the doc?
I think even with if Martin was here, Malcolm X was here, they would have altered the timelines. You know, I ain't saying the world would be better, but I'm just saying a lot of things probably wouldn't have happened. So I think he'll look back and be like if he just pop up right now, he'll be like, we came so far, but we still in the same place.
Yes.
That's what I think he'll say.
Dr. Claude Anderson always talks about, and I don't have the figures, but if you listen to me, then I'm hoping that you're familiar with Dr. Claude Anderson. But he talked about how in 1865, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, black people had a certain percentage of the wealth in the United States during Reconstruction, 20, 30, 40 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. And the percentage that they had, I think it was like less than 1%, less than 1%. And today, now, it is the exact same percentage.
Less than 1%?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Dr. Claude Anderson, you can look it up. And, I don't remember the specifics, but I remember the feeling that I got when I heard the number. I think it's like less than 1% of, businesses that are in existence that we own, or land, something like that. But the point is, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I played the clip just now in the break. Played 2 clips. First clip that I played was Martin Luther King saying, believe in yourself. Believe that you're somebody. As he said to the group, nobody can do that for you. No document can do that for you. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with the ink and pen of self-asserted manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. That's serious, man. That's real serious. And that's one of the things that he left upon me. Just pride, man. Not necessarily pride on being a black man. I'm already going to have that. But have pride in knowing that you matter.
Yes.
You matter. You know what I mean? Like, he was working with sanitation workers when he was murdered. Sanitation workers, the same people that the average person would look down upon because they take away your trash. They take away your trash, so they're not worthy of a head nod, a cap nod, or hello or good morning. That's who he was rocking with. He was in the hood, man. Like, that's noble to me. Like, I don't care that you got $1 billion. I don't care that you got your own plane. Are you taking care of people and making them happy and making them prosperous? Like, that's, to me, the legacy of Martin Luther King. And I tell you another thing. He said something that was real dope, big bro. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, the 2 worst things that you can have is sincere ignorance or conscientious stupidity. Martin Luther King said that. And I think that white folk in America today, when they see Black Lives Matter and they see some of us on the soapbox with regards to black empowerment and Black History Month and pro-black this and pro-black that, and you can't kill Trayvon, and I can't believe the police are shooting us and all of that kind of stuff, I think that a lot of white folk, when they see us going crazy about that stuff, many of them are sincerely ignorant because they just don't get it. But then some of them are conscientiously stupid.
Yeah.
And they know exactly what's going on.
I think it's more to the latter.
Well, I can't say that. You can say that, and that's cool. I respect that. I can't say that.
Right. I mean, that's my feeling. I think a lot of folks are more consciously stupid and don't want to know or want to see what's going on. Or they see it and they were like, well, did they deserve it? I mean,
or it's not affecting them. How does that affect them?
So yeah, it's conscious. It doesn't become something that is important to you until it affects you directly.
Because they're the default.
There you go. They're the default.
They are the default.
I said that before, man. And like, they don't like when you say that.
No,
Yeah,
because you're
their
stepping
whole
on
thing-
toes.
That and I'm not racist. I don't
not
act racist. Why would you say that?
I have black friends.
I got
Yeah,
black
I've got
friends.
black. I've dated black people.
That is
and
the biggest racial statement in the world. I
thank
got
you.
black
I have
friends.
black friends.
But I think that's the natural inclination when you're trying to
Justify?
because like I know that I've even caught myself when we've had discussions talking about homosexuals, and I I've been on the record as saying who you sleep with doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't care if you treat me nice and you're not an asshole to me, I'ma rock with you whether you're a homosexual or not. And I've gone on record as saying, well, I got gay friends. And it's like, okay, I sound like the dude that says I got black friends.
Yes.
And I catch myself.
Why do you need to
Qualify that.
your friendships?
Exactly.
Because if you truly, and let's say this, everybody has some type of prejudice or judgmental
Absolutely.
thoughts. It is human nature. It
Yep.
really is, unfortunately. And it's a product of how you grew up or where you grew up or your life experiences. Everybody has that.
So we're all
But
assholes by nature.
No, that's different than being racist.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad you made
That's
that point.
completely different from being racist. I
Right.
mean, we all have stereotypes. Everybody has dumb stereotypes. We have stereotypes about each other.
Right.
Men have stereotypes about women, vice versa.
Right.
That is completely different than being racist and sexist.
I think if you, and tell me what you think about this, Didi. I think if you make a conscious effort to be conscious about them, and you also make an effort to learn
Yes.
when you've been checked. Because I'll give you an example. When Donald Trump did his speech a few months ago, he said when he was trying to reach out to the LGBTQ community, LGBTQ. And I remember when he said it, I'm like, what the hell is that, man? And I went on Facebook, and I normally try to avoid going on Facebook and doing it in an emotional state. Because when you're in an emotional state, then you usually say something.
Whatever you look for,
right.
you find it.
Exactly. and when he said LGBTQ,
He did
I was
say it.
tripping. I was like, man, that's crazy. This dude is stupid. He don't know what he's saying. Blah, 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 blah. But then someone that is a part of that community who I love inboxed me and said, hey, let me tell you something. That was appropriate because LGBTQ, the Q stands for queer, and queer is part of many of us think that it's a negative, but that's how it's appropriate for them to be referred.
Oh, okay.
Donald Trump knew that, and I didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Donald
But
Trump
did he
was-
really know it?
I don't think he knew
I don't
that.
think he knew
but
it
that's
either.
not. But that's not my point. My point is, somebody checked me, so now I know.
But
And
you
me-
accepted that, right?
Absolutely.
You didn't go off.
Absolutely.
Oh, I was wrong. Thank you for telling me that.
Absolutely. So
Simple.
now, because our natural inclination is to say LGBT, now mine is to say LGBTQ.
Because you know what? A lot of times we look at Q or the word queer and think it's a
It's a
negative
negative.
connotation.
I do.
Because
I
that's what
always
we
thought
were
it was.
told.
I always thought it was the N word of gay.
Yeah,
I did
but
too. Well, I
You
know.
just taught me something.
Yeah.
I never knew that. So it is okay to say LGBTQ.
I mean, I'm not sure that I'm going to be, hanging out with my gay friend and calling him or her cute,
But you
queer.
don't do that. Yeah, that's not.
Hey, queer. Like, no.
I don't. I call people
I'ma
by their
just
name.
call them by who you
I call
are.
them by their names.
Exactly.
We don't need to go through all of that.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
So that was LBGQ.
LGBTQ.
Yes.
I never heard that.
I hadn't
just
heard it,
making a
but
note of it.
you guys remember hearing him say it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he was. I was like this.
So you had
You
the same.
thought it was another blunder. On
Yeah.
So did I. So you had the same reaction that I had.
I thought he was wrong, but
I
I was
did
like,
too.
let
We thought
social
he's
media
being
handle that.
I think he's being disrespectful.
And that's where I went.
Or ignorant.
I went to
Yes.
social media, and social media checked me and told me that he was right. So that
Wow.
that goes back to like kind of bringing it back to black folk. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's incumbent upon white folk as the default in this country to check each other. when it comes to certain situations.
Some do. Some do. Some do.
Yeah, some do. Some do, some don't. You know, I was reading an article earlier, and I'm trying to find it now in my social media because it was written by a white preacher who was speaking about Martin Luther King Day, and he was talking about how black people and white people are different, and how white people shouldn't try to say.
I saw that. He was like, I can't say, you can't say, dang, it was a part of the commemoration today, wasn't it? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, he was in one of the many celebrations going on. He was like, I can't say that we shouldn't be saying that we understand the plight of, black people, because that's like me as a white man saying I understand the plight of a woman.
That's exactly it. And the quote here that I wanted to read.
It wasn't the preacher from Chicago, was it?
No, Father Flager. It wasn't Father Flager. No. I like him. I love him. He says, quote, well, here's the message. No white person understands the black experience. Not Bill Clinton, not Bernie Sanders, not me, not anybody. We can't understand the black experience any more than I can understand how it feels to be a woman. And I guess to kind of put a bow on this segment, as a person, a black man looking at Martin Luther King, I respect everybody's opinion with regards to how you view this man. Black, white, male, female, other than black, other than white. I totally get it. But as a black man, me, looking at this man, I feel a certain level of pride that I won't say is bigger or smaller, but I will say is different than a white man would feel.
Yeah.
But I know that white men potentially would challenge me on that. And that's my point. You don't know what I go through, and you don't know what I feel any more than I know what you go through and what you feel. And I'm not going to try to taint you or change you or anything like that. But when I'm showing pride, outward pride, in my black president, in my black Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or somebody like that, I don't feel like I need to be explaining that. Just like you shouldn't have to explain why you feel so happy on Lee Jackson Day.
Or Elvis.
Yeah, particularly Lee Jackson Day.
Or the Confederate flag.
That was where I was going, but I like Elvis too. So, but I could dig
or
it.
your pride in the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
That you know nothing about.
But they always want to tell you, oh, it wasn't about slavery. It was so much more to it. I mean, fine, I can dig it. I can dig it. Don't tell me I don't know history because I see it differently from you. Because again, perspectives are different. While you out there running around in the woods wearing clothes from 1865, if I was out there with you, how you think that would go? You'd be chasing me.
Thank you.
With dogs.
Yeah, with dogs. Ain't no half step with Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy and Radio. All right, y'all, we're going to take our final break of the night. Come back, we're going to rant, and we're going to close. Coming back from the break, I'm going to give you a piece of my favorite set of words that was said by the man that we just spent the last 20 minutes or so talking about, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Facebook Live, I'm going to let y'all stay with us. If we act crazy here in the break, charge it to us having fun during the break, but I want y'all to hear this speech. So I'm not going to shut y'all down, Facebook Live. Oh. We're going to shut down the Legacy Internet Radio feed as well as the TuneIn feed to take this break. Back on the other side with our rants and our closes. Marcus J. and the crew will be back in a few.
Hey, this is Warren Ballantyne, the number one truth writer in America, and I'm listening to my man, my brother, Marcus J., right here on Legacy Internet Radio.